First story. Wife affairs terrible story. Feeling super alone and just needing to share this and get it out my head. I feel like I'm losing my mind, but this is real. D-Day number 1, July 13th. We are in New Orleans on a quick vacation with myself, my wife, and 2 of her male friends. All is well in the world. We'd had a lot of fun visiting the city and my wife had used her phone to take some pictures throughout the day I wanted a copy of. She readily handed her phone over and after I selected the photos I wanted to send to myself. When contacts pop up I see a guy's name I don't recognize. Let's call him Dave. I say, "Who is Dave?" and she immediately grabs the phone out of my hand and kind of freezes with an expression like a kid whose hand has been caught in the cookie jar. Immediately I know what's up as my wife has spent the last 19 years of our relationship on and off having sexting liaisons with guys she meets online. MySpace, Chatroulette, Omegle, Reddit, which then moved to Kik, Skype, Snap, and now Telegram. I learned about that app during this discovery. She is very apologetic and says that maybe this will actually be the best thing that has ever happened to us because we have very limited sex, maybe a handful of times per year, and that she has only been doing it as a means to an end, so that she doesn't pressure me or cause friction in the relationship. She doesn't delete the messages between she and Dave, but she does delete messages between her and others. I did not realize that at the time. So I have access to her phone, and I am able to read through everything that took place over the course of 3 months. The most painful realization is that on our trip to Venice this past May, she made sure to check in with him so he'd feel reassured. I review weeks and weeks worth of daily good mornings with inside jokes, midday check-ins, evening goodbyes. Lots of sexual pictures, both parties, videos, only her, sexting, but mostly conversation. You would expect from friends and partners, which really hurt and made her declaration of it being only as a means to an end release very confusing and somewhat unbelievable. As I start to move away from my disappointment, anger, and sense of betrayal, I'm ashamed to admit this, but I was able to comfort myself by the comparisons I felt when looking at her. She was not attractive and I felt some self-righteousness in knowing that I was more physically bulk, etc. She had zero qualms about me sending his a message, having access to the conversations, and answering questions I had about the incident. She was sorry and we started online couples therapy. Also, we began experiencing more physical intimacy and I felt like maybe we did actually turn a corner. However, there was one really puzzling piece I discovered in the messages. In one conversation, they were discussing past affairs, and she shared with him that she had an affair with a German guy who sent her a box of items for her birthday including shirts, book, fragrance, handwritten letters, and a dildo that had her name on it, which she sent a picture of to Dave, bragging essentially. He then asked, "Did you ever send him anything?" She said no, but I ate his sausage when I was in Munich in November. Of course I asked about this, but she denied it, said she got the impression he wanted to hear something really juicy and the best lies are based in a little bit of truth, because she and I had gone to Munich in November. It just came to her, and she said her mentor at work had given her that dildo, so it was easy to make something up that made her look desirable to Dave. I accepted that, but my intuition would not quit poking at me, telling me to wake up. Over the next few weeks, I would bring it up here and there, but always the same denial and casual brush of, "There's no way, absolutely not, you know me, this online stuff is just fantasy." D-Day number 2. August 12, 2024, I am feeling a worry, sense of dread I can't explain. We have agreed that I can ask for her phone anytime, so I do. She's not super happy about it but hands it over. I start digging, and my brain tells me to once again check her email inbox. She had secret email address, and in the face of the Dave discovery, I didn't really dig as the communication was on Telegram, and the email address was described as just a way for her to create that account. I start clicking around and discover the frequent contacts list and see an email address, let's call it joespach@gmx.com. I Google, WTF is GMX? It's a German email service. I see sent messages to Joseph saying, "Good morning handsome, I love you, I miss you." I immediately turn around and scream, so the German prick is real. My mistake. I should have sent the messages to myself before I said anything. She grabs the phone and starts pressing stuff, deletes everything, permanently deletes the deleted, and he is in full panic mode. She has to admit he's real. Yes, she said those things, but they meant nothing. They first met 10 Duke King years ago on Chatroulette. Talked for about a year. Lost touch, then about 3 years ago she found him on Facebook. Because of course he shared his real name, things quickly progressed into sexual fantasies, because we're very sexual according to her. She fell in love with him, and she could tell in order to continue to send the pictures, videos, messages he had to express love and emotional feelings with her. After several hours of still trying to deny everything, she admitted the gift was true also. I threatened to text her mentor and ask where she got the dildo from. He sent her a package to the UPS store closet to our house. She picked it up, paid $10 to cover the import tax, stored it in her car at home, took it to work the following day, opened it and threw everything away except the dildo. I asked why she kept this touching memento, and she claims it was just to have a backup dildo nearby, nothing more. I of course ask about the meeting while we were in Munich, but she vehemently denies that part. Says how could I, we were together the whole time, etc. This comforts me at the time, because when could she have? We were on vacation, in a foreign country we'd never been. Each day filled with long day trips, dinners together. I mean, it wasn't possible, and never once have I ever been worried that she would ever physically do anything, ever. I am of course blown away by finding that she has been involved in a multi-year affair with someone, and actually received a package from him, moving from virtual reality into real life. For days I am hysterical and inconsolable, replaying the thought of her sharing words of love and longing with someone. She is remorseful, mostly patient, but very bristly when I ask for specifics, and frequently express my utter rage that she deleted the communications. Also, I am like a bloodhound on the trail, searching for this prick, because I have to see who he is. I find him online, see his picture, find his wife, pictures of their kids. He is handsome, of course, tall, with masculine physique and long blonde hair, completely different than me. Immediately I am immensely, overwhelmingly, uncontrollably, sickeningly jealous and spiraling between rage, self-doubt, utter devastation, and a feeling that something isn't quite right. I spend an embarrassing amount of time staring at a side-by-side picture collage I made of her on the left and me on the right. I discover more, a sex toy app she is on where he can long-distance control it for her, a chess game they played together, a burner Facebook account they both used to communicate. I let her know I am also considering reaching out to his spouse because I think she deserves to know. I also say that if I ever find out anything else about she and Dave, we are over. I also mentioned to her something I suddenly remember. One night when we were in Munich, we had spent 12 hours on a tour, and I was absolutely exhausted, so I wanted to take a bath and call it a night. She was still fairly restless, so she said she was going to go have a drink at the bar. About an hour and a half later, I woke up and went looking for her at the hotel bar out of some strange sense of panic or dread. I didn't find her, so I went to the lobby, checked outside, and she was nowhere. I then text her and call 1 minute later. She answers and says she had headed up to the lounge on the 5th floor to get a soda before coming to the room. I feel strange about it, but she reassures me, and that was it. No further thought of it until now. After I remind her of this remembrance, she's quiet. We go to bed, and the next morning I awake to a wife that is shivering while sweating, pale and going between trying to stop herself from throwing up and crying. D-Day number 3, August 19th, 2024. She tells me she needs to come clean. It's all true, she says. While we were on vacation in Munich, the night I mentioned, they met. She got a room in the hotel we were staying in. They made out, talked on the bed, then showered together. At first she wouldn't let him have sex, so he went down on her. He was willing to proceed if she had let him, she climaxed. One thing leads to another. They end up stuck on the bed 3 times without protection. Then they said goodbye, and then she answered my call as she was heading back. After the secret Munich tryst, the communication was slower but continued until around March of this year, when he ghosted her. He deleted the Facebook account he used with her, and he didn't respond to the one email she sent. She said she wasn't concerned and didn't miss him, only missed the sex, constant stream of nudes and videos. She did search for him on Facebook at the beginning of July, because her Telegram stable wasn't being very productive according to her. I have already written so much, but I am still in disbelief. I have pictures of our vacation and have been viewing over and over and over, the day before, the hours leading up to that night. Pictures of us the next day touring the Christmas markets, all smiles. Me with no idea that life as I know it has ended. That I'm married to someone who is able to arrange an international ducking rendezvous, when she can barely remember a shopping list. I keep replaying it all in my head. I'm in shock, I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm devastated. The world that I've known is absolutely blown to pieces. Following the disclosure, now, she is the most remorseful person I have ever met. She cannot get through a sentence without throwing herself to her knees practically and begging for my forgiveness, sobbing, clinging to me. We started with a new couples therapist who specializes in sex addiction yesterday, and she says she is fully committed to doing anything and everything to make this right. She will also begin a Liddy recovery group therapy next week. She's already completed her homework from yesterday's appointment. She's deleted Facebook, changed the access to her burner email account to my phone and email. She says she's open to doing anything she can to win back my love, to repair the damage she caused, and earn back my trust, no matter how long it takes. I am going to try reconciliation, even though in my core I feel shame that I did not just pack it all up and leave her. If you got this far, thank you for listening. It's good to know I'm not alone. Second story. Knowing a known cheater. Hey, person who's being cheated on. I'm not sure if you remember me, but we met on a cruise back in December of last year. I've been friends with your fiancé ever since then. We've been talking on Snapchat every single day. I have no interest in having any sexual relationship with her. I genuinely always wanted to keep it as just friends. Over the past half a year or so I've come to know her and respect the shit out of her, but I've also learned of a few things that I've struggled with personally, and it's been eating me up inside and ruining my life. I've been gambling my ass off and feel like I've sort of obtained a gambling addiction. But I can't help but feel that I used it as coping mechanism to forget about the negatives I know about. Said person actively cheating. She's been cheating on you with a guy named, kept this out for Reddit reasons. I've known about probably since March, and when I found out I honestly broke down in tears and tried everything I could to make sure she stopped. And it seemed like I got to her, which to me was enough for me to never tell you. Which looking back on it was wrong. As of sometime around the beginning of August, she went to work over the weekend, and I haven't reason to believe. I'm not certain this time. She had ulterior motives which consisted of cheating on you with the same guy. I don't know his last name, his first names, but I know he was best friends with. Cheaters posts past best friend who died a year or two ago, referring to, again no. I'm not sure why it started, or if she used him as a coping mechanism, but I would really hope that if I was ever in your shoes, that someone would tell me all this information. I'd also like you to know that I did see her in Virginia back in June, but again my goal was just to be friends. I've never crossed any boundaries that would lead me to make you believe that she was cheating on you with me, except I do think she is beautiful, and I do tell her that from time to time. And although if you mentioned this to her she'd probably deny it, but from the very first day I mentioned I would love to get to know the both of you more. But she was always scared that you would think she was cheating on you with me, which I could never do. My morals wouldn't allow me to do that. I am not religious. I wrote this on August 15, 2024. I'm still so unsure if I want to send this because I don't know if you know already and you don't care. If it's just ending a friendship I care so much about, or if I'm a scumbag for ratting out someone that confided so much trust into me. It makes me feel like I'm betraying someone or I'm unloyal. I'm sorry it took me this long to finally even have the courage to write this. I'm currently crying as I'm writing this because it's painful to me how someone as intelligent as her can do something so shitty. But also on the flip side of the coin, it also hurts to know that you probably have no clue about any of this, and you have given her a life that people could only dream of, and the fact that she chooses to cheat on you just shows me she isn't meant to be trusted. She also knows some stuff about my life that could potentially ruin my life. It's nothing morally wrong, because I also felt like I could trust her, which is another reason why I've been unsure about sending you anything close to something like this. But I feel like my life these past few months have been on a downward spiral, and I feel like knowing such vital negative information on yours and her behalf is one of the leading causes for my terrible choices. I'm sorry. Come to think about it, I can tell you the exact day she cheated on you, at least one of them. Do you think I should send this message or leave it be? Third story. My girlfriend, 35F, emotionally cheated on me, 31M. I, 31M, and my girlfriend, 35F, started dating 6 years ago, and I had a friend, 19M, let's say his name is Johnson. We started hanging out together a lot and I noticed they got really close, but they treated each other like siblings, and I also thought he was gay. One day I learned that they stayed in his car until 3 a.m. drinking, but she said nothing happened, they were just talking because she was going through something. I told her I didn't like that and to not do that again. We started hanging out as a group, but I felt jealous of their friendship. Fast forward to July, we had a fight because I found out that Johnson and another girl, his friend from a long time, had been going to our house to play video games, and I didn't know, and I got so mad I ended things. But I thought about it and decided that I didn't want to leave her because I loved her, and she said the same. And we started again almost 2 weeks after that. She tells me she needs time because she doesn't feel the same after that breakup. And we had a huge fight and we ended things. And said that if we were mean to be, we could meet with each other again. We had a trip plan with Johnson and my now ex-girlfriend. And while we were planning everything, I was looking through our pictures and found a screenshot of Johnson telling my ex that he felt more than friendship, and she answered she did too, but she felt bad, and of course I lost it and I screamed at both of them, because yes, I was with both of them. They said that nothing happened between them, they confused their feelings, and they left it aside because of me. And because they got confused, so I left the house mad and hating both of them. That all happened Monday. On Wednesday, I felt like they were lying to me, so I went to his house and found her car outside his house, which made me think that it was something else than just a misunderstanding. I go to the backyard, look through the window. I saw he bent her over on the kitchen island. My heart broken. Today I talked to her, and she told me she will always loved me and I'm the love of her life. And she will always remember all the good things that happened. And all the memories we made. And I asked why she was there, and she said she's the only friend that he has, which is true, and she was there to support him. We didn't talk about going back together because I'm hurt, and she said she also feels bad for what she did, but she said that in the future she hopes and I can forgive her. Now I feel like what would happen if in a year I still love her? Will I be able to forgive her and start again? Or maybe I just have to wait and see if she actually regrets it? I want him to stop being friends with her. I miss her so much and she was the best love I've had. I'm moving out of the country for a few weeks to think and forget about her, and I hope I'm a future I can forgive her. Fourth story. My partner cheated on me with someone he barely knew. I need advice. My 33F girlfriend and I, 34M, have been together for a little over 12 years. We were talking about getting engaged about a week ago, and in my excitement, I told my family. After careful consideration, I figured it was best that we wait a hit. As I was not at a spot in my life where I wanted to be engaged, it had nothing to do with her. A few days ago, she left to go on an overnight trip with her side job, and all seemed fine. She was drinking most of the time and I was getting plenty of incoherent texts. Yesterday morning, she called me and told me she made a friend and one thing led to another, and it was too late by the time she came back to her senses. She didn't go all the way and they used protection. I asked her how many times. She's silent for a minute. Then she said only once and not yet finished. I pressed her more. She claims only 3 times. I don't know what to believe anymore. So I guess that's a teensy bit better, but we are not in an open relationship and she knows that. I don't know how necessary this information is, but she knew about me and she knew about his GF. Also not an open relationship. She cheated and she fessed up. She claims she has not cheated on anyone in over 8 years, but once a cheater, always a cheater. I'm still finding myself after the fact. I have a therapy appointment scheduled next week. My question is this, though. To partners who have been cheated on and got back together and it worked out, how did you do it? How did you regain that trust? In which ways did you hold your partner accountable? I sincerely love her with all of my being and she claims that she does too and feels extremely guilty about it. I want to give her a second and final chance, but I don't know how to navigate the hurt. My family knows. My friends know. It's embarrassing and shameful to think that I want to get back with a cheater, but she has proved to me time and again that he was loyal until 2 nights ago.